So you might be trying to figure out what the differences are between an iPad Air model and an iPad mini model. Now, whether you're comparing the current generation iPad mini and the iPad Air, or you're comparing the iPad Air and iPad mini from 2 years ago, 10 years ago, or 10 years from now, it's pretty much going to be the same exact case no matter which way you look at it. These iPads are very good, but they historically have always had some key differences, and I'll go and explain those differences out. First of all, the big thing to keep in mind, an iPad Air usually is a little bit more expensive than an iPad, standard iPad mini. So if you're wanting to go and compare an iPad mini to an iPad Air, the cheapest iPad Air is always going to be more expensive than the cheapest iPad mini. And I do think this in and of itself is a very big thing to keep in mind, because if you're going through and picking up a certain device, you probably want to, be cognizant of the price that you're going to be spending the money on. And in this particular situation, an iPad Air for sure is going to be costing more money overall than an iPad mini. You still get Wi-Fi and cellular models between both, but for the cheapest models right now, there's about $100 difference between both. The sizes are the other big thing. There might be changes in the resolutions and the ProMotion and all that stuff, but the iPad mini is a mini iPad because it's a smaller iPad. Compared to the iPad Air, you're going to be getting an overall smaller sized iPad inside of the iPad mini than the iPad Air. Unless Apple makes the same size iPad Air in the future, that's always going to be a key difference, which is also going to change the way the battery life kind of is. As far as we can tell, the iPad Air is pretty much always going to have a bigger size battery than the iPad mini as well. So this in and of itself is another very big thing, because if you're going through and picking up a certain battery or a certain thing within an iPad, you probably need to know that when it comes down to both of these, once again, this in and of itself is another slight thing to kind of keep in mind there too. Now, on top of that, the other big thing, beyond the price, beyond everything like that, as far as we know right now, the iPad Airs are probably going to be giving you better performance than the iPad minis. Now, these can change in the future, anything can happen, but as far as we can tell right now, I do think historically speaking, the iPad minis may not be as powerful as the iPad Airs. At least that's how it is right now. The iPad Air basically is going to be giving you that M2 chipset inside. The iPad mini is going to be giving you that A15 chip inside of it. So this right there is a pretty big difference. And if you are planning on going through and picking up an iPad, it's probably a nice thing to know that that particular iPad is going to be giving you an overall better experience, once again, as far as we can tell, than the iPad mini once again. The cameras are also going to be slight differences always. Right now, you're still getting USB-C ports on both, so none of that's going to change. You're still getting the same Apple Pencil support too. But the big thing I'll definitely tell you is that if you have the option to in the future, going through and picking up a device that will basically be giving you that type of, chipset, that type of everything, is probably going to be the biggest thing to keep in mind. The iPad Airs probably are going to be the better iPads most of the time. You're going to have more flexibility, you're going to have more power inside of it, and those are the ones that I'd probably recommend a vast majority of people to buy. But I'd probably say something like the iPad mini is still very good for the most part as well. And I do think in a lot of different ways, this is a very, very good device that I still prefer, and I still think it's a very, very good device too. So overall, that's kind of how it holds up, in this day and age in 2024. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.